Hi, this is Henry Seltzer. Welcome to another edition of Transformational Astrology. We're going to talk about the upcoming full moon, which is a rather intense one. In fact, all the astrological configurations lately have been quite intense. And I think we can feel that energy. I know I've been getting a lot of reports that it feels like swimming through mud right now. It feels very intense, and our transformational agenda or our transformational mandate from the cosmos is up for us right now. We're having to deal. This particular full moon adds quite a bit to that, especially with regard to the planetary archetype of Neptune. And Neptune is a very unusual archetype, manifests in many different directions all at once. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we look at the configuration. Well, here we have the chart for the full moon coming up this weekend on Saturday around the middle of the day. 11:29 a.m. on the west coast. It would be 3 hours later on the east coast. It would be 8 hours or more later in Europe. And we're going to see a strong hit of some of the outer planet archetypes that we've been encountering in recent times, in the recent lunations. So this is a very intense summer, as I've been referring. It's a time when really our changes are up for us. We're seeing where we need to make changes, and we're seeing it directly coming to us as we encounter these lunations and as we encounter the events of our lives, which we're thinking about in more ways than one and more deep reflections. A lot of the energy of Venus being tied up in retrograde right now makes us reflect and think more deeply about relationships in our lives, the motivations of their interpersonal connections. We are very aware of the outer planets because they've been all triggered by, all the outer planets really have, by these lunations that we've been experiencing, and this is the next one coming up this weekend, full moon. You can see that the sun and moon in opposition are actually also connected so strongly to Neptune. Neptune is so close to the moon, as you can see. So, and Jupiter being close to the sun is opposite Neptune. It gets, as it moves along further into Virgo, it actually gets to be opposite Neptune, so that brings Neptune again into the picture over the next couple of weeks. So we have a very strong Neptunian energy right now. And Neptune is a very paradoxical thing. It takes us out of our bodies. It takes us beyond this physical plane, and yet, of course, we are also in the physical plane at the same time. So there's a paradox there. We have to embrace two realities at once that are antithetical to each other. Are we here? Are we not here? Are we a person? Are we I am who I am? Or are we somehow beyond that, and we're always dealing with those issues when Neptune is involved? Another archetype that's involved right now in several different ways is Pluto, and in this particular configuration you can see that Pluto and Mars are connected by a quincunx aspect or an inconjunct, and that will be another factor that we'll be taking into account. We'll be recognizing where it is that we need to transform. And in all of these configurations, when you feel a strong outer planet presence, it does reflect back to your natal chart where that natal planet is located in your natal chart. Where is Venus, which is retrograding now, in your natal chart? Where is Neptune? Where is also Pluto? And Uranus has been activated also, and the new planet Eris is right next to Uranus, and all of that has been really triggering our activities over these summer days. Now, coming up in the next couple of weeks is another lunation, which is a new moon, which is an eclipse. And let me bring that chart to the fore here. So this is the chart for the solar eclipse that's coming up on September 12th. So that's another 2 weeks away from this weekend. And I wanted to mention it because at this time you can see that now Jupiter has gotten to 7 degrees of Virgo, almost to where Neptune is. So we're going to have another strong hit of Neptune at this time, and this is an extra powerful lunation that's coming up. And we'll see it also because at 20 degrees of Virgo, we're going to see an interaction with Uranus at 19 and also with Chiron at 19 degrees of Pisces. So and these planets have been triggered in the previous new moon as well. So we're seeing a lot of outer planet activities. Chiron is a very interesting archetype. It's a planetoid that was discovered in 1977, and now you can't look at a Western chart without seeing Chiron. It's being used very universally. It's called The Wounded Healer. It refers back to places in the past where we've encountered difficulties, usually in early childhood. It was too hard to manage at the time. It was something that usually gets buried away and therefore not dealt with, creating what Jung called a complex, or a place inside ourselves that we're not familiar with or dealing with. And the prescription there is very interesting. It is to witness the behavior, become more aware of what's going on deep inside you, and tune into that, and just watch and be witness to it. If you feel yourself being triggered, just witness that. A friend of mine says you're never angry for the reason that you think you are. So look at the reasons behind that anger. What is being affected inside ourselves that makes that anger come up, or that reactivity of other kinds come up? And that is also as an indication of where Chiron is located in your natal chart. You can see how that interacts with your personal planets, and it gives you a lot of really good clues. So these are big times that are coming up. Again, the full moon is coming up just this weekend, and it will be a lot of Neptune. And it will be a spacey time, but it will be a time that we can reflect on our larger selves and how we're connected with the universe. Well, I wanted to invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel that you're watching, which is where we're going to be presenting these every other week. We're going to do it with the new moons and the full moons and talk about what's happening, what's coming up. As far as resources go, the outer planet archetypes have been described by some really good authors. The book on Pluto is the book by Jeff Green, called Pluto Volume 1. It's just the classic Pluto volume to know about charts, how to work with Pluto and charts. I also like Liz Green's book, no relation of course, but Liz Green, Greene. She wrote the book on Neptune, which is terrific, called Neptune. And then I like Richard Tarnas's book on Uranus very well, called Prometheus. Let's see. Then there's also, as far as Chiron goes, the book by Melanie Reinhardt, Chiron and the Healing Journey, is a very, very important book. If you haven't read that book, you really should check it out at any level. And then on Eris, I feel like my book is the best description of the new planet archetype that's emerging in Western astrology now for Eris. So that book is called The 10th Planet. And we do recommend the Time Passages software. You know, these outer planet interactions that are happening reflect back to the natal positions. And so if you understand your natal chart, and if you've checked out the interpretations of your natal factors in the Time Passage Astrology, it's a very good way to be tuned into what's going on in these intense times with these outer planet archetypes coming along. Okay, have a great couple of weeks. Talk to you then.